Evening, love. What can I get for you? A Budweiser, please. Oh, thank God for that. What do you mean? Nothing. Anything else? Yes, I'm here to see Big Green. Ah, tops. You get half price off your drinks then. Excellent. That'll be £50, please. What the fuck? And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for the moment you've all been waiting for. Debuting his stand-up comedy routine tonight, I give you a staple character of the Thomas the Tank Engine franchise, one of the original Steam Team, the number 3 of the Northwestern Railway, an engine who was once afraid of a few drops of rain. Give it up for Henry! Thank you very much. Yes, hello everyone. I'm Henry from the Stories of Sodor, and a million other variations of this franchise. I'll tell you what, I'd have never thought a collection of stories based on anthropomorphic trains would do so well. And that's saying plenty, considering I'm one of them. But I'll just add that to the ever-growing list of things I don't understand. That right there was my very lame segue into the theme for tonight's routine. Hashtag lame segues lame. For those of you who don't know, I was built in 1919, which presently makes me 98 years old. I understand that's very old by human standards, but I'm not so sure. I mean, look at Keith Richards. He still seems to be plodding along at 148, but I digress. Despite my age, there's still so much I don't understand about the world. Furthermore, there's also a lot of things that tick me off. When I decided to do this, I wasn't sure if this would come off as a stand-up routine or another mindless rant clogging up the internet. I'll leave that for you to decide. I'll start off with something that's got a lot of people in a tizzy. The YouTube adpocalypse. Don't you just love how sensationalized tragedies can become? Hashtag tragedy sells. And this is indeed a tragedy for many. For the uninitiated, the YouTube adpocalypse is the term given to the current situation on the platform where the site is pulling paid advertisements from many videos. This is bad news for a lot of channels, as these ads are the source of their revenue. Some have reported up to a 40% cut in their income, which is rubbish. No one deserves that. And before anyone can make a snide remark that these people should get a real job, let me ask you a question. Is it any different to a real job? In the conventional sense of the word, a job is where you're employed by someone. That someone is chiefly responsible for paying you. Your income is literally in their hands. And if your boss came up to you and said, "We're cutting your pay in half," would you stand for it? I think not. If this sounds a wee bit personal, it's not. This channel's not monetized, and it has no intention of doing so. Nonetheless, I can sympathize with those who've been dealt a crippling blow. So, what's my point in all this? Irony. That's right. This isn't the first time channels on YouTube have been up in arms about something the site's done. If you disregard the seriousness of the situation, one thing I always find incredibly funny is the reaction by these channels. They make videos condemning YouTube on YouTube. And to my knowledge, YouTube has never taken down any of these. When all's said and done, they seem like good sports when it comes to taking backlash. That's worthy of respect in my eyes. And I don't think the site deserves all the scorn it gets. I mean, it is a business with the goal of making money, and it can't do that without making changes. I wonder just how many people have triggered with that statement. And there's another thing I don't understand. The obsession with triggers. Now don't panic. I'm not going to go beating this dead horse by ranting on about how obsessed we've become about not hurting other people's feelings. Instead, what I'm going to say is something I don't think anyone's ever mentioned before. Triggers are nothing new. Think about it. People have always reacted to the words and actions of other people throughout history, for good and bad. When Hitler came to power, people were triggered by his charisma. When man first landed on the moon, the world was triggered by this awe-inspiring event. And when Trump was elected, no, I'm not touching that one. But I've already mentioned his name, which means the comment section is probably going to go into meltdown right about now. Hashtag sound off if you're triggered. Okay, assuming the video hasn't crashed, I can talk about something else that baffles me. Unusual pricings. Whenever you check the price of a product, it's rarely depicted as a whole number. It's always $29.99 or $19.99 or some other figure. Whenever I see that, I can't help but ask, what's the point? If you're paying cash, then you are paying the whole number. And if you're paying by card, then you save 1 cent or a shilling or whatever denomination applies to you. Which means after 100 purchases, you'll save $1 or pound or whatever. And what can you buy for that these days? It's not just the small stuff either. Larger things like cars, where the vendors are giving them away for $29,990. Oh, so instead of paying 23 grand, you save 10 whole whatevers instead. Great! Now I have enough money to pop into the supermarket to buy lunch. But before I do that, I best check what's in it. And yes, that's the next topic I want to cover. The ingredients in food. Now this, I fully understand. There are a lot of people out there with some very serious allergies. The creator of this channel, for instance, he's allergic to sulfur. And you'd be very surprised how many foodstuffs have sulfites in them. So having common elements like wheat, milk and so forth on the packaging certainly makes sense. But then there are the other ingredients you find. Things like sodium hexamenophosphate. Now what the hell is that? I'm not even sure if that's a real thing, to be honest. I mean, unless you're a chemist, you're not gonna know what it is. And whenever you see an ingredient that's 26 letters long, you gotta wonder, should I even be ingesting this? Then there are the common ingredients that are preceded by an unusual adjective, like inverted sugar, for instance. What does that even mean? I know you can probably find out these things with a quick Google search, but it's far easier to complain about something than to research it. I also know it must sound strange for a train to be ranting about food, considering I don't and can't eat anything, but the bloke who voices me is semi-human, so I guess that counts. Hashtag self-deprecating humor. One thing that truly, utterly baffles me, however, is the strange description you find in relation to some foods. Here's an example. Last week, my driver had a packet of cashew nuts. Just for curiosity's sake, he read the ingredient list on the back. Aside from the incomprehensible ones, there was one line that made us laugh. It read, "may contain traces of nuts." What do you mean, may? Does that mean it's not really a cashew? That it's made from something else? If it is, am I better off knowing or doing the Matrix thing and remembering ignorance is bliss? I really don't know. What I do know is that I'm sure you're all sick of listening to me rant. So I'll end the routine here. If you've made it this far, thank you very much for that. And if you'd like me to do this again, sound off in the comments, as I still have plenty of material. One final time, thank you for watching, and thank you very much for 2 million views on this channel. Good night, everyone. Splendid! Everything is coming along nicely. Indeed. This year's Halloween celebrations are going to be the best. Is Halloween really that big of a deal here in the UK? I have no idea, Percy. But it is important to many people in America, and since the bulk of our viewership comes from the good old US of A, it's important we cater to their customs. You mean pander too? Yeah, pretty much. Anyway, time to discuss our costumes. What are you going as, Edward? V from V for Vendetta. What about you, chaps? Heath Ledger's Joker. Mary Poppins. Jake Sully. Who? Jake Sully, the main character from Avatar. That movie had characters? I thought it was just one big demonstration of Hollywood CGI. Was he the one who got blown up in that weird helicopter plane thingy? Diesel. That was Michelle Rodriguez. Oh, he was the guy in the wheelchair. How is it Avatar is the single highest grossing film of all time, yet it's had absolutely zero impact on pop culture? Luck of the draw, I guess, old boy. Again, highest grossing film. That's not mere luck, Edward. At any case, Toby, maybe you should consider a better known character from film. Alright, let me think. I've got it! The Terminator! Didn't James Cameron direct that one too? Oh dear. What? Looks like someone beat you to it, Toby. I'll be back. You say that when you're leaving, Eric?
Oh, yeah, right. Hasta la vista, baby.
What does that even mean, anyway?
The Ericanator is not required to explain himself.
Don't ever say that again, Eric.
Oh, you're no fun, Diesel.
Well, forgive me for trying to make you not sound like a twit. You mean to say you won't be doing a Joker impression at the party? Well, sheesh, what I wouldn't give for a distraction right now. Look, here comes Duck. I said distraction, not fan service. Hello, Duck. How are you, old chap? I'm just fine, Edward. What the? Henry? Aye, it's me. So what do you lads think of my costume? I'm so confused. Where did you get it? And how did you fit inside? I got it off eBay. As to how I got in it, grit, determination, and a whole lot of Vaseline. Well, colour me impressed, Henry. We should just give you the award for best Halloween costume right now. No, you should reserve that accolade for Thomas. He's really gone all out in his costume. Here he comes now. Bust my buffers! Thomas, you've excelled yourself!